I adjusted my spacing on the sheet format. Got everything to fit pretty well. The drawing names, parts, we need to populate this out. Also, I made a first angle projection symbol. So let's go ahead and edit the sheet format. And I want this to move as a group, so this would be a good place to create a block. So we're going to make the block, and then when I set the insertion point, go to the center and go ahead and accept. And then if I right click on it, we can save the block, and since I put that in as a folder, I can save this as the first angle. Alright, and now it should move as a group, and it should scale as a group. So didn't leave it a lot of room, so we'll need to shrink that down just a little bit. Maybe a little bit bigger, 3/4, 0.75 would look pretty good. And actually I think by the time the rev gets in there, we're going to need to be at the 0.7. Alright, so the issue here that I've encountered before is because that block, and it still has associativity back to the file that I just created, may end up tying those together. So let's go ahead and save the sheet format. And we need to navigate back to location. And this is going to be in the templates. Give it my A landscape. And then I want to add another sheet just to test this out. Well, let's go ahead and save the template. Alright, so make sure we've got the drawing templates. Save it as the same name so they line up. Okay, and then I'll add another sheet. And the new sheet goes back to the existing. So in this case I'd want to go into the properties, and we'll make sure. Now on this one I believe I already did this, so go up a little bit more. Most of the time you'll see the delete and you won't see the properties, so we have to hit the down arrows. If I customize the menu, I just uncheck the delete and check the properties. I don't usually delete from the right context menu. We can come over to the sheet and right click from there. So if I go into the properties, I'm going to want to add that sheet format, have it apply the changes, and then there are the blocks with duplicate names on other sheets. Your already existing blocks, or rename the new blocks. Do you want to rename? No. So use the existing. And then if I come back over here, properties, and then it's back into the A landscape. So let's go ahead and pick that one, apply changes. No, I don't want to rename. And then let's just go through that process one more time of saving the sheet format. Basically, I'm just making sure that I don't end up overwriting something or losing something when I close this out. Alright, so if the let's see, the drawing template should come in with that second sheet already, so I'm going to go ahead and delete. I hit the double arrows at the bottom, delete, and yes, and save as. So the sheet format just keeps all of that stuff in the background. I believe it's the drawing template that will retain that second sheet. Alright, so only one way to find out. Try it out. Alright, so I created a cube and called it cube, and in its custom properties it has something in those values for each of the items. And so when I go into new, pick my A landscape drawing, bring in the cube, I really only need, say, the isometric view, and that's going to give me enough information that when I rebuild this I should see the drawing name as cube. And since I haven't saved this or put in the other files, I think that's all that's going to come across at this point. Plain carbon steel and raw. Plain carbon steel is about one of the longest that we have, so that gives me kind of a sense of what it will fill. So if I go back into the sheet format, well, I didn't quite finish that one out, and I didn't want to drag it either. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete all of that. We'll come over to link to property, and current document or model found here, the current document would be the drawing view specified in sheet, or a selected component or other drawing view. And then the property name, we will go with part number and hit OK. So that looks correct, and it is string property sheet part number. So if I bring in the next part on a new sheet, it will be referring to that part's part number. All right, so new location or new annotation, model found here, and then that was the actual file name. So SolidWorks file name, and we'll see if that comes up with the same sheet. Escape out of that. So PRP sheet versus just PRP. So the PRP string is for the current document, and the string PRP sheet is for the item located in this drawing. Everything else seems to have populated, looks pretty good. Doesn't look like the rev came over, so we'll need to see what's going on there. And maybe that had a name, but it didn't pick it up. So model found here, property name is going to be revision. Okay. And so kind of different font, different line weights, so you have a little bit of separation between the Rev A and the A size sheet. And one last thing I noticed is that I don't typically put dimensions. I want to use the geometry. So if I am at 1.55, that looks pretty good. So in that case, one of the rare instances I will use fix is I'll pick one of those endpoints and fix so that it stays in position. You can pretty much do the same thing with each of the corners. If I thought there was going to be some kind of issue of it moving around on me. And apparently those were set to blue. So one of the things I did earlier is under the sketch, if we right click and go to the customize, the line color, line thickness, and line style, under the commands I found in the line format tools, and I just did a drag and drop from the command up into the command manager so that it would stay put. Alright, and then while I was doing this, I also managed to, see if I can get it to do it again, get the command manager to pop out. So that tells me that I didn't go back and lock like I intended to. So we'll go back into customize, and I want to lock the command manager and toolbars. If I need to add anything, take anything away, then I'll unlock it, make the changes, and go back. So with that in place, if I wanted to increase the line thickness, I could pick on that line, pick the line thickness, and we go up just a little bit, and it makes that line, well, a little bit too heavy. If I look over on the line properties, we're not going to find that. So maybe back down to the 0.098, and then we go ahead and accept. Alright, so once I delete that part out, because I don't want it to include, I just wanted its properties, its parameters, then now I'm going to go back and do the save sheet format one more time. And then file, save as to drawing template one more time. And then make sure to close it so that we're not including anything in there that we don't want. So one more time, new, a landscape, bring in the cube part. I'll just bring in the front view. Everything populates. The test here is that if I do a save as and go ahead and update, and it is in the templates folder, so I need to find a better location for that. and that was under Dropbox, so probably just the cube in Dropbox. Lay out some additional folders, and I should have given that a different name because we have cube and cube, and I can't really tell if I did anything to that. So cube draw. Alright, so that tells me that I was centered, didn't really want to be centered, so that would be something I need to correct. Edit the sheet format, come back, check, so we'll switch over to left, and then that one's left, so we're pretty good there. Let's check the fonts. So that was a Century Gothic 11 and a Century Gothic 13, so something else I'd want to change is make those the same. Okay, and then we can kind of line them back up a little bit better. If it doesn't line up well, then we'll zoom in, see if we can get some of those inferences to let go. So one more round of saving the sheet format, saving the drawing template, and I think we'll have it. So again, this is kind of an iterative process. I have a little more room if I find I missed something over here to insert. We may go back and try the logo and refine this a little bit as we go and build it up.